Hello?
Bro, you hear me now?
Yeah, it's much better. Much better.
All right, cool. Oh, good, man. How you doing, bro?
Very good, man. Very good. Just trying to acquire as much as possible right now.
That's what
I'm not
it's all about.
One thing, though, is I'm not sure if I'm on speaker, but I hear myself.
Nah, not on speaker. I actually have my headphones on.
Dang.
All right, let me see something. How about now?
Check. Yeah, I still
hear me now?
I hear it, but let's just do it. We'll make it happen.
All right, cool.
First off, I don't have your first name. I mean, I have your man. This is really bad.
Sefadine.
And how do you say your last name again?
Henson.
Let me see. Sifadine Henson. There we go.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is the Todd Capital Millionaire Podcast. This is episode number 60. Man, this is really Oh man.
Hear yourself like an echo?
Yeah, it's like really bad too.
All right, let me see something. Do it like this. Maybe if I put you on speakerphone, see if that's better. Right, you hear me now?
Check. All right, cool. I don't hear myself. That's good. Yeah, that's perfect. That works. Cool. Let's do it. So this is the Todd Capital Millionaire Podcast. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Millionaire. I'm the host of the Millionaire Podcast. The purpose of this show is to share the stories of successful African-American investors and business owners, mostly because so many people like to tell me what's not possible. And so my job is to go find the people who are doing what you say you can't do to eliminate that excuse. So effectively, we share the stories of successful business owners and investors, because we know that if you look back on the path of any successful African-American individual, for the most part, if they've achieved wealth, it's been through business ownership and investing. And we have countless examples of the H.R. Russells of this world, the A.G. Gassens of this world, the Reginald Lewises of this world, and most of the guests on this show have achieved some form of wealth or financial independence. My name is Charles Oglesby, as I just said, also known as Todd Millionaire. I'm the founder of the Todd Capital Investment Club. We have 210 members. So what does that mean? That means that 210 people are investing as a group together, buying stocks. And then as a subset of that club, we also have Todd Acquisitions, which is another partnership-based club that buys real estate. And so with that deal and that group, we have purchased and cash flow one property. We've purchased and rehab another property. And right now we've purchased property that's ready to be closed on. So the goal is a property per month. It's March. We have 3. That means for April, we got to make something happen. So today, with the person that we have on the show, let me make sure I get this right. His name is Seafood Hinton. His company is the Hinton Group. He's a real estate investor and entrepreneur. I'm sure that he can give himself a much better introduction than I can. So welcome to the show, man. Can you tell people more about yourself and who you are?
I appreciate it. My name is Sefadine Henson, and my number one thing is, growing up, I always knew that I was going to be wealthy, but I didn't have the resources that I needed in order to be wealthy. So I became the resource network for others, especially my young entrepreneurs. So throughout the years, I'm talking about I knew I was going to be wealthy from the age of, I want to say, whatever age I was in first grade. And I just been working towards that ever since. And now I'll be 35 October 15. And I developed a really, really huge resource network. And instead of me keeping it to myself, I simply share it with others. And that's how I became in the position that I'm in now.
Nice, nice. And so where are you located again?
New York City. Born in Queens.
In Queens. Nice. So can you talk to us about the Henson Group? What is that, and what are you guys doing in the Henson Group?
Absolutely, absolutely. So with the Henson Group, it's really one-stop shop for everything needed to build wealth. So we're able to take anyone from anywhere in the country, no matter their credit, no matter their income, and assist them with having the correct resources and eventually having them have their own investment portfolio in which we'll manage that portfolio 100% if they choose us to.
Cool. And so, I mean, we've used the term resources a few times. So what resources are we talking about? Are we talking about mentors? Are we talking about consultants, team members, advisors? What does that look like?
Okay, so number one, wealth management. Number two, we have a mentor membership program in which 21 and under is absolutely free. Number three, we assist people with establishing their business credit. And we have, we make our lenders, we give them access to our lenders, business branding and social media marketing, turnkey real estate investing, and we have our own construction company as well, which my sisters are architects. I have cousins that's architects. I have a brother that's a carpenter, and I have another brother that's an electrician. Really every single thing needed to be able to do rehabs, home improvements, and new construction. So literally controlling the game, because I used to be a licensed real estate sales agent, so I was stuck in the middle, and I've seen a lot of deals didn't go through simply because I didn't have any control over the situation. So I said, you know what? Number one, I'm going to align myself with the people who actually make the money, who create the money out of thin air, the financiers, hedge fund managers, private lenders, and I learned from them. So I became connected to the money, and I was like, okay, now I'm gonna find my own inventory, and from there it just took off. So it was a beautiful thing. But my number one thing, my go-to reason why I have access to a lot of different people who are successful in different industries. Number one is by me being connected to the funding, because every single industry needs funding. I don't care if it's a gold mine, oil field. I don't care if it's a skyscraper. Everyone needs funding, and so I became known as the money man, and then also by the simple fact that anytime when I have a conversation with somebody, it's usually about me asking them, how can I make them more money? So, so you're always going to answer the phone if I call, if I'm always trying to figure out how to make you money.
Man, I like that. I like that because one of the things that I think that a lot of people miss out on is they're always looking for what's in it for them as opposed to what's in it for the other person. So how do you turn what's in it for somebody else into a beneficial relationship for you?
Well, for me, it's simple. So like, let's say for example, the number one thing is usually someone needs more money. So when it comes down to if they qualify for funding, that's just connecting them with the lender, and I get a percentage. So I just keep it real simple like that. Or let's say if they need branding or any type of marketing, I have the expert who's in that field, where I connect them and I get paid a percentage. So I just keep it real simple. So I literally turned networking into its own brand.
I like that. I think that's awesome, man. One of my favorite books is called, what's that book called? It's called The Science of Getting Rich. And in that book, he says that wealth is through creation, not competition over what's created. And so like a lot of people are sitting on these ideas, these great ideas. And instead of launching these ideas, they'll just tell their friends about them. And then 5 years later, they'll see Snapchat pop up and they'll say, oh, man, we had that idea. Remember we were talking about that on the couch. And so instead of like taking action and creating something, even if it's imperfect, with the investment club, what I've created something is imperfect, but it's morphing into something that is going to allow us to do huge things. So, I mean, for anybody listening, just like this brother here, like he took an idea and he's making money being kind of like the plug, if for lack of better word. And I mean, I think that's cool. So
absolutely.
When you first got started, I'm not sure if you've done any real estate investing. If you have, it'd be great to kind of talk about those deals. But if not, we can just talk about your business experience. Have you done any investing in the past, or, I mean, what's your professional career and success look like?
Oh man, that's professional career. That's an interesting term that I get asked all the time, and every time when I get asked that, I always have to think about, okay, what do I do? and the interesting thing is, my last job was literally 6 years ago. I literally make all my money from my phone. 100% of my money is made from my phone. So it's really just me being a connector. That's really what it is. And I specialize in assisting other entrepreneurs in achieving whatever they seek to achieve. So I ask people two things. I ask them, what's their vision? And then from there, they tell me what are they looking to achieve, and then I ask them, what are you seeking to achieve exactly? And then from there, I know how to connect them, and it's like a doctor talking to a patient, and I know what connections to connect them with.
Nice.
But as far as on the real estate, yeah, you sound like you was about to say something.
No, I'm listening. It's your show, man. It's your show.
I appreciate it. So as far as the real estate aspect, I tell people all the time that I'm 100% not a real estate guy, and they get baffled by it, like, because my Instagram is real estate _money. Mm-hmm. But I tell people when I speak to people in regards to real estate, I tell people, look at it like this. It's just that I'm strictly about building wealth. I'm a visionary guy. I'm strictly about building wealth, and I copy off the wealthy. I study wealth. And also, far as the real estate game, it's like breathing. You know what I mean? Every single person breathes air, but we never say that I love air. You know what I mean? But we all need air in order to live. So if you're seeking to be wealthy, no matter what, you're going to need to be in the real estate game as an investor, because that's the number one way to secure large sums of money and attract large sums of money. So, and then I come from a family of real estate investors as well. We own a bunch of properties in New York. All of them are free and clear. My great grandparents came here from Jamaica and bought up tons of property. They was buying properties cash back in the days. So it's definitely in my blood. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take it to the next level. And because even though the real estate game is in my blood, it wasn't really passed down as like the go-to thing for our family. It just like so happened that we own a bunch of properties, but like the knowledge wasn't really passed down. So like, you have different people doing real estate here and there. So I learned from the different people that was doing it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to take it to the next level. And then I always knew I was going to own skyscrapers by default. And I was like, okay, as I was working towards the goals, I put my wealthy checklist together when I was 17 and 18. And on that wealthy checklist, I put Henson Bank, Henson Resorts, and my insurance company. So those things I put down when I was a teenager, and I just happened to write it as a teenager at that point in time. But I always had in my mind from my, like, I want to say junior high school. Every single thing I've been doing is literally towards building wealth. I'm talking about, like, I never even smoked any type of thing or drunk any type of alcohol ever, because I always want to make sure that my mind was 100% on point at all times, because you never know when something's going to come across your mind that's going to assist you with achieving that goal. Like, I'm talking about so on point that when I was in junior high school, I told my mother that I'll be married before the age of 25, and that was strictly because I knew that I needed to be married so I could take care of the personal things, so that I could get that out the way, and while I'm working towards building my wealth.
Yeah, you said a lot that I agree with. I think that the very last point that you made, and I haven't touched on this on the show, but I think it's important because this is a show about wealth and business ownership and investing. And I think that the culture tends to be very individualistic. We have people, I was on Twitter today and there was this girl who said, like, oh, I only like dudes who are making enough money to take care of themselves and are attractive and all these other things. And I have this idea that men and women aren't equals. We complement each other. And the thing about, like, marriage, what marriage did for me is marriage allowed me to focus solely on my business, meaning that if it's 8:00 on a Tuesday night, I'm recording a podcast. I'm elevate my business. I'm not chasing butt cheeks through Instagram DMs. So it's like, it really hones your focus. It makes you more motivated. It makes you more driven. It eliminates a lot of distractions. And I haven't even touched on that on the podcast, but I've seen personally in my business over the past 2 years that I've been married, I've seen it just skyrocket, where before I was spinning my wheels a lot, trying to get a business started, trying to do it. And now it's just like, I don't know, it's kind of like the Bible scripture that says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. I feel like in a lot of ways, your business will be more prosperous. Your life will be more prosperous. Your career will be more prosperous. And I made the point that it's like a lot of us are waiting to make sure our life is perfect before we get married. And we don't realize, like, marriage makes your life perfect. And so it's like so many people, women in general, women the same, like, they're waiting for that dude to be perfect, the complete package. And a lot of people are disappointed because they never find that complete package until you complete him and you make him that package. So I think it was cool to hear you say that. What I like to talk about in this show is the immigrant mentality, because I feel like there's a difference between immigrant African individuals and people who actually live in the States. And maybe I'm wrong. And the only reason I point that out, I point it out because I think that it's important for people to take that mentality and adopt it as their own. Don't criticize it because it works. There are Jamaicans who come here and win. There are Nigerians who come here and win. There are all kinds of African immigrants that come here and win. And so it's like, it's up to us to see what's working and then just take what's working for them, apply it to our lives. So can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, you actually make, you're 100% on point with that, because it's like this, and I'll break it down even further, as far as me being from New York and going to these different towns where it's deemed as a slower pace. You know what I mean? So people from New York or people from Chicago or people from LA will go to these different towns and we're like, hold up, what? Y'all don't have this, y'all don't have that? All right, let me get that. Let me get this. You know what I mean? We stand up the whole town. You know what I mean? and it really boils down to most people don't. Then again, I don't like using that word most because I haven't spoken to everyone. A lot of people don't really know what they have until someone else comes and shows them.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So that's really what it all boils down to because just like how in New York, our rent is like $2,000 plus a month for in the hood, while yeah, it's real deal. It's crazy. And then our one family houses are averaging like 400,000, 500,000. You know what I mean? Then when I go to the Midwest, that's an apartment building.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I'm looking at the apartment buildings, and they like, yo, it costs that much. I'm like, yo, our houses cost more than this, bro. They're like, what? And then I show them online. They're like, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I think that
really
that's one of the things I've realized is it's kind of like an arbitrage almost, or a competitive advantage that you have, because if you come from a big city, and we're buying properties in the Midwest right now, and so we'll be out there, and I got stopped by a few different people, and they're like, "What are you doing out here?" I had to go through customs because I accidentally drove to Canada. I took a wrong turn, ended up in. So yeah, I was like, and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing out there?" I was like, "I'm a real estate investor, and we're looking at our properties." And they're like, "Properties?" I was like, "You guys don't see the opportunity that's right here? Like, we're picking up properties for pennies for what I'd pay for a down payment on a property in California. I can buy 2 or 3 homes out here and rent them out for a solid 30% cash on cash return, which is just ignorant." So it's so funny because I realized that it's true. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, man, in LA, and that's why part of me doesn't even want to leave California. Yeah, it's expensive, but it brings a different level of hustle out of you. It brings a different level of motivation and grind and determination out of you by living in these areas that are competitive living, because you got to rise to the occasion to even survive.
Right.
That is dope.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that's how I see it. So when it comes down to people coming from other countries, it's really like for example, my wife is Jamaican. You know what I mean? My wife is like, yo, in Jamaica, like we got to pay for school, like literally have to pay for school. Like if we don't pay, we don't go to school. You know what I mean? So and then over here, it's the law. You have to go to school, and it's a government assistance. You know what I mean? So it's just a whole different type of ball game. You know what I mean? It's a whole different type of ball game. Like when if you in one place, you're most likely not going to see the opportunity unless you network with other people who may be able to see the opportunity as well. Yeah. You know what I mean? Be able to see the opportunities that you don't see. So it really boils down to what's your network. You know what I mean? That's what I really see.
Yeah, we had somebody on the show last week or 2 weeks ago who was from Nigeria, and he said the same exact thing. He said in Nigeria, you have to pay for school. So people come here where school is free, and they're like, I might as well become an engineer. I don't have to pay for it. So there's a whole lot of opportunity in America. I don't care who the president is. I think that it's never been a better time to create wealth in America. With, like you said, you create opportunity from your cell phone. You don't have to even go to the office. You don't have to have a laptop. I saw somebody say there's more computer power in your iPhone than there was in the computer that sent a man to the moon. And people are over here using it to tap booty pictures. Like, man, like you could create an empire just strictly from your iPhone, just like you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I don't even own a computer yet. Like I purposely did not own a computer. I'm going to need a computer. Well, I'm not going to. I need a computer now because of the different things that I'm doing. Just strictly off the fact that I want to say like these different programs are hating on the phones. Like they're not making. There's a lot of programs that's not compatible to phones because I have a Galaxy Note. You know what I mean? So I'm like, yo, my phone is a freaking computer. Like, what's the deal? But it's like, okay, sorry. So now I'm forced. You know what I mean? But the reason why I don't own a computer is because my whole thing was I want to be anywhere in the world and be able to make money.
Yeah.
So I programmed my mind to only function with the phone. So now, and because like no matter where I go, I always have my phone and my passport with me. So I'm able to take advantage of opportunities anywhere. You know what I mean? On top of the plane. And that's how I live my life. You know what I mean?
I think that is.
What you about to say?
So, are you using like any different apps, or how did you do that? How did you position yourself to make money just from your phone? What strategies do you have in place to help you?
Remember, I'm the connector. So how am I really making money? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. All I got to do is just make sure my contracts are in place when I connect people.
Yeah, contracts. So do you have those do you have the contracts stored on your phone? Are you able to sign your docs from your phone too?
Everything. I could scan. I have a scanner app on my phone.
Yep. The crazy part about it is, I think that's kind of what the world is. It's kind of like Gary Vee says. He's like, there's no barriers anymore. Like you have the internet. And I mean, the phone is connected to the internet. So the phone effectively allows you to tap into anybody in the world through multiple means of communication, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, email, text, phone. And like you said, the apps that are out there allow you to do anything. You can scan now. You can sign a document. We received a real estate sales contract, and I told the guy I had to print it and scan it. He was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Just download DocuSign, and then you can sign it if you need." So
that's kind of dinosaur age, bro.
Yep,
yeah, exactly. Man. They even got e-fax, bro.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I want to take this time to plug the book Smartphone Millionaire, the book written by Erica Williams. You can find that book on Amazon.com. She also has that on her website, the Classic Climb blog. So check that out. And I share that because I think it completely ties into what we're talking about. Most of this show is about empowering African-American individuals to create wealth. And so my goal is really to destroy any objections, any excuses, any good reasons that you even think you have. So yeah, let's hear more about your story, man. I want to know what is a client success story that you had that you can tell us about?
see, this is the I'm going to tell you what I really, 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 really specialize in, and I actually put all this in my book too. Staying happy and confident when your world is falling apart.
Where can they find that?
What was that?
Where can they find that book?
It's on my website, hensongroup.com, HENTONGROUP.com. And in my book, Staying Happy and Confident When the World is Falling Apart, like every single thing about the book is really geared towards unlocking the doubt in people's minds. And that's what I've been doing throughout the years. I mean, I've been doing that from as long as I could think. You know what I mean? Just inspiring people, and because that's the number one thing. So I want to say, as far as success story, the many people that I've assisted with personally mentoring them, and I'm talking about being on the phone with them for hours, and I'm talking about I never charged them. You know what I mean? Like I was doing this for free, bro. Like I just started charging people. This like I want to say for the past 6 months. but far as working with people and getting them to the point of greatness and really it's all about not caring about what people think, and because we're taught to care about what people think, and even especially from school. Like when I was in school, I felt like I was in prison. I call me being in school from 1st grade to 12th grade prison, bro. I did a 12-year bid. I've been wanted to start my businesses. You know what I mean? I was always connected to business owners. It's like, man, like I went through so much mentally because I was stuck in this one area that I had to get up in the morning and be told what to do and everything. And I'm gonna tell you, how schools brainwash us, man. Our children. For example, we all saw this example before. Let's say it's a test, right? A test time, and a person writes an answer on the paper, and then the teacher asks them how did they get that answer, and they didn't write it on, and they didn't write how they got it down, how they got that answer, and then the teacher marked them wrong, even though the answer was right, they marked them wrong because they didn't use the right quote unquote formula.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what I mean? But in the real world, it's all about getting the answer correct. It's all about problem solving. And guess what? They condition us so much that it doesn't even, now we second guessing ourselves. Now we second guessing our creativity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's so what? We can't create our own formulas? The formulas came from us. You know what I mean? So you have all these children, millions of children that's being conditioned to second guess their greatness, second guess their creativity because they have to do it exactly as the teacher says or their answer is wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now you have all these adults that grow up to be adults, but it's going to be, you know what I mean? They now conditioned to be told to what to do.
Yeah, I hear you, but it's kind of breaking up a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not sure what happened.
Let me adjust a little bit. How about?
It's kind of going out.
Going out?
That's better.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I assist. So that's what I do. I assist people with getting to the point of really not caring about what people think. So they a lot of people going off of fear of loss.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people thinking about that the perception of time, the perception of failure, and like for example with Tom, if you ask an adult when's the last time they added 1 + 1, they're gonna be like, what? You know what I mean? We're like, what? Like, why would I do that? Like, I already know it's 2.
Mm-hmm.
So then I hit them with, okay, right? So you wouldn't even waste your time with that, right? So therefore, when it comes down to setting goals and telling yourself you're going to complete at a certain time, when you look at time frame and goals, we almost never complete goals at the exact time that we set to complete them, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we knew exactly how much time it took to complete something, we most likely wouldn't even do it because it's not a challenge. You know what I mean? We don't know the time that it takes to complete something. We don't know who we need to talk to, who we need to meet in order to complete that goal. And we don't know the information that's needed in order to complete that goal. So why are we setting these time frames and enslaving our mind to think that I have to complete this by a certain time? Now we have all this anxiety, you know what I mean, that we putting on ourselves when it's all an illusion.
Yeah, I think
I covered this in my book.
The crazy part about it is it seems like a lot of this stuff is again taught to us in school because
exactly.
I mean, if you enter into an undergrad program, you know it's supposed to take you 4 years. And so then you start creating these goals that are time-based. And so people will say, oh, I need to be a millionaire by 30. Oh, I need to make 6 figures by 30. And it's so funny because the reason why I knew that the schools kind of brainwashed kids is my niece came to me one day and she told me that in school they gave everybody jobs. And I was like, I'm not a fan of jobs. Like, I don't like this job stuff. And she's in kindergarten, and they're already teaching them job stuff. And so that's one point. But the next point that you said is you're taught to follow the rules, which effectively makes you a great employee, but not a great business owner or investor for that matter. And then that's kind of addressed in the why A students work for C students. And so you have these people who go to school and they get A students, and so they'll get good jobs, but they're still an employee. But then you have these C students who are creative, who are thinkers, who aren't very good at following the rules, but that's why they're successful, because they go out there and they create something that is never been seen before. And so people who have good grades, they're very good at recreating what we've already seen. They're very good at telling you what's already happened, but they aren't good at creating what's to come. So I think that was kind of cool. I think that I think that school is important in certain regards, but you made a point that when you were done with school, you felt relieved. And I was listening to Gary Vee, and he made that same comment. He was like, when he got the opportunity to walk into his dad's store and he realized he would never have to go to school again, it was like a weight was lifted. Like he could just be him. And I experienced that when I was done with law school. I was like, wow, like law school is so difficult to me, at least, that like when you're done, you're like, dang, I can finally build a business now. I can finally invest how I want to invest. I can finally work again. I kind of felt like what Gary Vee felt, and it sounds like you felt the same experience.
Man, I'm talking about I had so much anxiety when it came down to school. As soon as I graduated, I never went back to that building. Ever. Like, I'm talking about anytime when people mention the word school, like my heart start racing, all that. Like it was man, I'm just glad I don't have to go through that anymore. And then that leads into the next thing, the perception of failure. So the way I assist people as far as getting over fear of failure is I tell them, like, look, I asked them, was you given the blueprint to this life stuff? And like, no. So I'm like, how can you fail when you never had the anything to study far as when it came down to this life thing? I said, what you do is think of yourself as a scientist, and you have a hypothesis, and then based on the hypothesis you do experiments, and then based on the results of that experiment, you know how to tweak it you'll tweak it a certain way in your hypothesis, and then do another experiment, another hypothesis, another experiment, another hypothesis. And that's really what life is about. And even when you look at scientists, when they make different discoveries or inventions, they never say that this scientist took 100 years to invent something. No, they just be like, okay, this person invented the light bulb, and now, like, yeah, it is. You know what I mean? So I tell people, there is no failure. You know, you're trying things out. Mm-hmm. Have fun with it, and then it's just causes and effects. When you do something one way, you're going to get an effect. You do something, so okay, you would tweak it, and to see what different effect that you could get, and see if the effect lines up with what you want to get as far as the result.
Yep.
And then once I tell them those two things, the perception of time, the perception of failure, and I really, really work with them hand on, they're like, wow, they feel so relieved, man. And I cover this in my book as well. And then also it's more to it than that, because you have different energies. So I assist people with learning how to tune out the different energies. Like, for example, social media. Social media is the number one reason why I'm able to have access to all these different resources, because it's free marketing. You know what I mean? It's free marketing. Like, I'm able to, like, I have people following me from all over the world. I have people who ask me questions from all over the world for the past few years, all over the globe. You know what I mean? And I tell people, I'm like this. When's the last time you watched TV? They'll tell me. And then I'm like, when's the last time you looked at your phone? They're like, oh shit, I'm looking at my phone now. I'm like, exactly. You know what I mean? Exactly. So, when it comes down to your marketing, I tell people, social media all the time, social media, and then which I cover this in my book as well, and then also when it comes down to, since we're on social media so much, I assist people um with this. Anytime when I go on my social media, especially my Instagram, it's all positivity. It's all uplifting things. Why? Because I made it that way. I unfollowed anyone that had negative energy or low frequencies, and I put in different people for me to follow, and different hashtags for me to follow, and so now every time when I look at my phone, I see wealth, I see success, I see billions, I see trillions. That's what I see every time. So now my phone, I look at my phone, it's uplifting me, and a lot of times when people looking at their phone, they seeing all this negative stuff, and it's going into their subconscious. And then also, as far as with me making money from my phone, there was a point in time where I was fighting a court case for 3.5 years. 3.5 years, I couldn't get a job. So I turned to my little brother, and I was like, who's my carpenter now, who built skyscrapers as well. I have two brothers that built skyscrapers, my carpenter brother and my electrician brother, Sefla and Naji. And I told him, I said, watch, this right here is going to make me wealthy. I said, I'm going to make all my money from my phone. I'm going to make millions of dollars strictly from my phone. And I went for it, and it was social media that assisted me with doing so. And the crazy thing is, with the court case, it was I got attacked by one of my former landlords. I called the cops, and because I was young and black, they arrested me, and they wanted me to cop a plea, and I was like, nah. I'm the one. I'm the one that's the victim. I'm not. I don't care if it's a half an hour in community service. So I took it all the way to the day before trial. Like literally, the next date would have had to been trial. That's how. And then they wound up dismissing it. For all those years, I couldn't get a job. So I was going through a lot of mental stuff. I'm married, children, couldn't get a job. You know what I mean? I'm getting called all types of names, lazy, stupid. You just don't want to work. And in the meantime, I'm just fighting it. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I went through it all. Like, it was one point in time I was suicidal, all that. You know what I mean? And like real talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like this thing put me through a lot, and this is why I'm able to assist people with my different insight, with the insight that I have, because I've been through it, I assisted a few people that like, I'm talking about, they contacted me like, yo, Seth, like, yo, I'm done with this. I'm just going. I feel like I just want to end it all. You know what I mean? So I coached them through that. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, this is all on me. You know what I'm saying? This is all like no money. You know what I mean? I'm not charging them for this. This is just because I love to do this. I love to inspire. And so what assisted me with was I was like, okay, if I do end it, because I was like, okay, I was gonna my thing, I was gonna jump off a bridge. But it wasn't water. It was like I was gonna jump off an overpass. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And like, cause it was once one overpass that I always walked over when I was taking my sons to school, and I was just standing there. I'm talking, I was standing for like a half an hour, man, like just looking, like, you know what I mean? And half an hour, 45 minutes. Like, it was a very low point in time. So, and but what assisted me was, I thought about, okay, if I do this, how is this going to assist my sons? You know what I mean? what's gonna happen with them? And I was like, yo, word, like, yo, you bugging, son, like, yo, F this, because me, I'm the type of person, either I'm going to be wealthy or dead. Like, there is no, I don't know how people do that regular stuff. You know what I mean? Like, because all these years, I was always felt like I was living someone else's life. You know what I mean? Just working towards getting back towards being wealthy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about my sons. I was like, nah, man. Like, what are you doing? You got to make a difference for them. You got to change. You got to enhance the world for them. And then after that, I just went ham. I exploded. I went, you know what I mean? I went all in. I mean, I'm talking about all in, 100% all in. Like I ain't care. I still don't care. All in. I'm like all in, because just like when a plane is taking off, they don't say 99% full, 99% throttle. They say full throttle. You know what I mean? When it comes down to sports, I tell people, if I ask people, if a person is, most of their body is inbound, and a fraction of their sneaker, a fraction of their foot is on the out of bounds line, they out or they in. Most likely you out, right? Because your foot is on the out of bounds line.
Yep.
But I'm like, yo, but 99.9 whatever percent of your body is in. But they're like, yo, your foot is on the out of bounds line. And I tell them, that's exactly what it takes to be successful. At all costs, you have to be 100% all in, or it's not going to work. And I'm talking, so and that's in my book as well. You know what I mean? All these different key points are in my book. And then when it comes down to making money with my phone, it was one point I needed to make money with my phone, so I changed my ringtone to Joel Santana. So every time my phone would ring, it would say, "Hold on, I got that money calling on the other line." You know what I mean? So every time when my phone rung, that would come on, and then it would have me thinking that money is calling me, and then eventually, money started calling me. To this day, money started calling me, man. we got to program our minds, and all this is in my book as well. So, and it's not, and the dope thing is, it's not a dragged out book. It's a pocket sized book. It's actually a booklet, and it's designed so that it could be a daily picker upper and a weekly picker upper, and even the book cover is a smiley face. The reason being, like my 3-year-old, I showed the book cover to my 3-year-old, and he was like, "Oh wow, smiley face." So even my 3-year-old recognized that it's a happy book, and as I put it so that no matter what language you speak, all around the world, they'll be able to see that book, and no matter how they feeling, if you pick up a book, I won't say if, when you pick up a book, and it's a smiley face on it, I don't care how depressed you feeling, you're going to feel a little bit better because you see that smiley face.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's my whole thing. That's literally my whole thing is giving people the insight of being able to do the daily things that it takes to go towards your goal, because every single step counts, and every single step should be celebrated, because guess what, in football, if a person is an inch before the touchdown, an inch or a half an inch, that's no touchdown. So every step should be celebrated. Every step counts. Every step matters. You know what I mean?
Yep. And
so, so those different things, those are different things. I even cover depression. In depression, I mentioned that I don't care what different engine it is. We all got to slow down a little bit. We all got to shut it down sometimes. So with depression can actually be healthy if you use it the right way. So like a lot of times before my major breakthroughs, I had different feelings of being stagnant, feeling I was stagnant, and then, but it was really my mind allowing me to relax and just think of another way of doing something, because we never really learn things when we're winning. We really learn things when things slow down, when things are not as fun.
Yep.
So it allows, and that's when the great things come about. Like the reason why I'm able to put this network together, the way I have it, a one-stop shop for everything that people need for us building wealth. The reason why I'm able to connect with so much people is because when I was a licensed real estate sales agent, I made $0. $0 as a licensed real estate sales agent. Even though I never cared about selling other people's properties, I only had the mindset of being a developer. But still, I made $0 as a licensed real estate sales agent. So you know what's the beauty in that? I saw all the ways that deals don't get closed. Yeah, I saw all the ways that deals don't get closed. So I put all those different things together, and I made the blueprint as far as being able to say like, okay, now, and a lot of times it came down to control. You know what I mean? So we control everything. I don't care what it is. We literally control every aspect of the deal. The cool thing about real estate is many people are infatuated with the idea of investing in real estate, but don't want to do the work. So what's really lacking up until this point is someone that takes people from literally point A all the way to Z. I don't care whether it's contacting mortgage brokers, the right mortgage brokers, contacting the property management company to manage the properties, every single aspect, you know, finding the properties for them, and like the simple things as far as letting people know, don't ever purchase properties at market value. You know what I mean? People don't even know that. Like people don't even know what market value is. and this discussion with the mortgage broker, finding out from the mortgage broker to see what's the minimum amount of equity needed to be able to cash out or do a home equity line of credit. Different states varies. And like for example, in New York, you need at least 100,000 in equity to even for them to even look at you to do a refi. But in places like Milwaukee, you could do that with 40,000 equity. You know what I mean? So the education, making it a total package for people, and taking the all the doubt out of that area, so that everybody could just grow, man. And I also by me being connected to different hedge funds, like one of my guys, he has a hedge fund. He lives in Atlanta. Black dude, you know what I mean? And I'm connected by me being connected to all the different areas of wealth. I literally see hands-on, and still see hands-on what exactly they have access to. So I always was like, you know what, I'm gonna give the everyday working person the same access that these wealthy people have. And a lot of times it comes down to establishing business credit. A lot of times that's what it comes down to. And then also it comes down to not using your money, which is business credit as well. I tell people all the time, the wealthy, they don't even use their money. I mean, we hear that all the time, but I literally do deals in which they don't use their money because I have access to commercial bonds up to the billions, the same bonds that's used for bridges and tunnels and stadiums. And so you got a person that has $50 million, $100 million portfolio. They're able to get funding up to like $200 million. And they don't put anything for a down payment. but the lower class and the middle class always looking to use their own money, and in fact, it's frowned upon to get a loan for different things. When you're talking to a lot of people, it's like, I'm like, yo, you know, these people don't use their money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like the education, so I'm giving people the education as far as all aspects. It's baffled to me. It baffles me when I'm talking to people and I'm literally having to and I don't even use this word because I really don't convince people, but I care about people so much. I'm like, yo, do you know that like the wealthy use business credit? Like people are like hesitant about even learning about business credit, bro. Like that's crazy to me. It's insane. But,
so,
you know.
I mean, if you want, can you break down the concept of business credit to the listeners?
All right. So with business credit, I give people a prime example. I don't know. I know. With the media, a lot of people don't like this guy, but I'm gonna use him as an example. Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us hear that Donald Trump filed bankruptcy multiple times, but you never hear about Donald Trump far as not being a billionaire. He's still a billionaire. He's still able to. He's still building properties on the West Side Highway in Manhattan. These high rises. How is he able to do that? He filed bankruptcy. How is he able to do that? No one never really thinks about that. No one really asks those questions. They just like, oh, he's a bad businessman. He filed bankruptcy, but he's been a billionaire for the past decades. You know what I mean? But I tell people, I'm like, okay, he didn't file bankruptcy with his personal credit. He filed bankruptcy with his business credit, and on top of that, it wasn't even his umbrella corporation.
Yeah.
And then and then
I think that's very important for people to understand, because I mean, basically when you have an entity, you can set up a bunch of separate entities, and each entity so each entity has its own credit score, its own whatever you call that thing for businesses, and so you can effectively bankrupt one LLC, one corporation, and then just move on to the next.
Yep. Absolutely. That's all part of the game.
Yeah. So how does one get set up with the whole business credit process?
I actually have a program that I literally just invested in, and with the program, I'm talking about is a hands-on program where you have advisors that literally call you every day, and they call you far as asking you far as what do you have any questions for setting up business credit, and they take you from the idea to a proper LLC, because like for example, my LLC is Henson Group LLC. Mm-hmm. It's not Henson Real Estate. It's not Henson Hair Products. It's Henson Group. Now, Henson Group could be any type of business that I feel like it. So you want it to be very, very generic, mm-hmm. and so it's not deemed as a high risk business, because the more generic you're gonna get more funding. So they assist you with all those process, with everything, choosing the right name, all those different things, and then taking through the business credit process, as far as having the access to the right vendors. They have access to the vendors. I'm talking about literally holding both hands is what my brother told me today when I told him. Through the whole process, and then on top of that, have taking people to their lenders that they have access to. So it's really, really dope, which is on my website, and people have access to that on my website. All my members have access to these to all these different programs. That's why I call myself the Amazon of building wealth.
Nice. Well, what's your website? What's your website, and what does the Amazon of building wealth consist of?
Okay. So when I say the Amazon building wealth, my website is hensongroup.com. Hensongroup.com. HENTON group GROUP.com. And all our members have access to wealth management, mentor membership program, establishing business credit, access to our lenders, business branding and social media marketing services, turnkey real estate investing, and construction company services. And also, every single person that's 21 and under, we offer free mentor membership program. So all the young entrepreneurs that are seeking to build, I mentor them for free, like that. So the adults pay, the children are free, the youth is free.
Nice.
One second.
You just say hold
Okay.
on. All right.
I'm back now. I'm back.
Before I wrap it up, I have two quick questions that I ask everybody. The first question is, what is your favorite book?
My favorite book is The Secret, bro. The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. Yeah, Law of Attraction, man. That's my favorite book. That's the book that literally assisted me in changing my life. And the ill thing is, my wife bought it for me. Yeah, gotta choose your partner. My wife takes women on group trips all around the world. La Maison events. So this hands down 100% The Secret.
That's cool. Yep. Very inspirational book. The last question is, what does wealth mean to you?
I love that question. See, now my wealth is my children. My wealth is my children. Being able to assist my children with having a mindset of never ever working for people, but also having the same mindset of assisting other people in building. So that's my wealth. Like I'll give you an example. I've never asked my children or anyone else's children what do they want to be when they get older. The person that they need to be when they get older is themselves. You know what I mean? I ask my children and every other children that I see, what is going to be your first business? What's your first business that you're going to have when you get older?
I like that a lot.
That's what I ask.
I like that a lot. That is a dope statement. And that's one thing I was going to ask you is, and that's one thing I've been on here, is everybody talks real estate. Everybody talks real estate, flipping, all that stuff. But I think that the real thing is it's business ownership. Real estate
Absolutely
is effectively business ownership in the first place. I think real estate is easier to get into. It's a lot easier to get funding to buy a piece of property than it is to buy a business or to invest in a business, especially a startup. But the true wealth that's been generated, and I told people this today, it's like if you look at the Forbes list, you see a bunch of business owners. There's no employees on the Forbes list at all. But I mean, even real estate, like, yeah, there's some real estate guys on there. Some of the real estate guys might be some of the biggest people, but a lot of the people that even became real estate guys were a lot of times businessmen that put their money into real estate and then they became developers. So I think that's huge, especially teaching the kids. We have to teach our kids to build businesses, not to be employees, because you really you stunt them when you teach them to be employees. You teach them to go beg for a job from somebody else, especially how Dr. Boyce says. And especially if you are, and I think there's opportunities out there in America. It's great, but it's very, very important as an African-American person to choose yourself, to not limit your possibilities for success based on if Netflix likes you or based if Goldman Sachs likes you or based if your job likes you. That's one of the things that I've done. It's like I have my job, but I also have my business. And my business liberates me. It's so amazing to be sitting at my chair and I can make more money in one day from my business than I'll make sitting there for 2 weeks. So it's like it's motivating to keep running and keep promoting my business. You covered a lot of really dope topics here. It would be cool to kind of really dig into the book. We're running short on time, but you made a lot of really great points that I definitely agree with. You just phrase them differently than I phrase them. One of the points was just not being afraid of failure, making your mistakes, and learning that there's no timeline on when you have to do something. If anybody listens to this interview, I think that those things, if you're interested in starting a business, if you just take those principles and not caring what people think, not caring what people think, like everything is here. Like all the gems to starting your business are here. It's just a matter of, like you said in the beginning, it's getting rid of your doubt and not caring what people say about you. Because I think that in so many instances, people hold back from doing stuff because they don't want to be seen starting out. They don't want their idea to be seen in its infancy stages. They want you to see it in its grandeur. And so people will just hold off and do nothing as opposed to starting and learning what needs to be done. So with that, unless you have any last words, did you have anything else you want to share with the people? And then lastly, before you leave, we definitely want to find out exactly where they can find out more about everything you have going on.
Absolutely. Now you hit it right on the point. That's really what it is just unlocking your full potential and just going for it and just like we have one life to live. Like you don't want to move on to the next stratosphere because I don't really believe in death because energy never dies. Mm-hmm. So you don't want your body to go in the ground and you living with regrets. So it's like go for it. and one quick thing because this is going to help a lot of people. When this is how I make my decisions. When I make my decisions as far as on the aspect of if I go for it and it doesn't work out, will it hurt me? But if I go for it and it works out, that's cool. But if the answer is yes, that it will hurt me, I may not do it, or I may just need to find a way to hedge it, find a way to make it work out. And then if I find that out, then I'll go for it. Just like when it comes down to investing money, I tell people never invest the amount of money that say if you invest it that you have to think about it. Like say for example, someone's asking for $1 in the street. You're most likely not going to think about that $1 after it leaves your hand. So it's the same thing with investing. Never. If you have to think about, if you know you're going to have to think about that money constantly after you invest it, you really shouldn't invest that money because no matter whether that investment goes good or bad, now you're busy start thinking about that investment instead of thinking about the next and the next and the next and the next when you really need to have more things in the pipeline. Mm-hmm. So I like it. That's how I go about it. And then also with the real estate, I know I said one thing, but another thing with the real estate, a lot of times when people think about investing in real estate, they think about fix and flips. But really, when you the way to build wealth is really by leverage. So you want to think about buying and holding, and then leveraging those assets so you could get more assets and more assets and more assets and more assets. So those are the different things that I assist people with as well. I'm not against buying and flipping. I'm definitely not against that. But I want people to think about the other side as well because the major players, a lot of times the major players, they have these portfolios that they build where they're able to leverage the portfolio to get access to even more and more and more while keeping that portfolio, and they have these bonds that they're able to get based on that portfolio, and the bond is not a hard money loan or a short-term loan. It's these bonds they could pay back in like 50 years. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And they have the lowest interest rates because the bonds are where the loans originate from.
Yep. So where can people find out more about you, man?
I appreciate it. So my website, Henson Group, HENT as in Tom, ON as in Nancy, Group, GROUP.com. My Instagram is realestate_money.
Very cool. So thank you for coming on the show, man. It was a very powerful and just content-filled show. I'll be listening to this a few times and taking notes. It'll be great to have you on the show again next time. We will have to dig into more into what you're doing and your philosophies, because there's a lot of like just depth in your views. I like that a lot. If anybody is interested in joining any of our investment clubs, that could be either the stock club or the real estate club, and coming on as a partner there, you are more than welcome. Email us at info@capitaltodd.com. You can also email me personally if you're looking to get your LLC set up, or if you're looking to have your taxes prepared, you can contact me at charles@capitaltodd.com. There's a lot of great things going on in America for African-American business owners and investors. Hopefully you learned something here. Hopefully you've learned something on another show. If you have, please leave a rating and review, a 5-star rating and review, because we need more people to hear what we're sharing. We need more people to see these examples and learn what's possible if we choose ownership over employeeship. I just made that term up. Ownership over employeeship. You guys be great. My name is Charles Oglesby, also known as Todd Capital. This is episode number 60. Signing off.